Hey guys, Umair again with Straight Path Construction. We're actually filming in the office today. It's -20 outside, so we just thought let's do a video about attic rain. What typically happens is as weather gets cold here in Alberta, few days of cold weather, and we get a ton of calls once the weather warms up. People saying that they have leaks on their roof. 99% of the time, when it's a situation like this where it's extreme cold and then suddenly the weather warms up, 99% of the time we find that it's attic rain. So I just want to do a video and kind of explain what attic rain is, what causes it, and then how we can prevent it in the future, what the simple steps are to resolve this issue. So without any further ado, please excuse my drawings. Drawing is not my best attribute, so I did the best that I could. So we have a house here and a roof, but we'll get to that later. First thing that causes attic rain, guys, is weather. So what that means is when there's prolonged cold snaps of -10 or below, -8 or below, but it's prolonged, so it lasts a few days, a few weeks sometimes. What's happening in that scenario is people typically keep their houses closed. So windows aren't opening. When the doors open, they just go in and out very quickly. So it all the humidity that's inside of the house, it stays in. There's no way for it to escape. We're cooking in the house. We're showering in the house. In a lot of cases, people have humidifiers that are on in the house, especially when it's really cold. And what that's causing is the house to be full of humidity. Now, as the house is humid and it's not getting out through the windows or doors, humidity is naturally going to rise. And when it rises to your ceiling, there's spots in your insulation that are thinner, or maybe there's some gaps some places, and the humidity just starts to travel up inside of your attic. Now, when it travels up inside of your attic, what that's causing is a lot of frost built up in the attic. If it's cold for a day or two, there's going to be a little bit of frost. It's going to melt, and you won't know about it. But if it's prolonged cold snap, frost is going up, and now you have an attic full of frost. So if you've ever gone up in your attic when it's really cold, you'll see that it's all white and it's all frosty, and you're not sure what's happening, but that's just the humidity that's traveled up. Now, the problem is a lot of houses have traditional vents. Now, traditional ventilation, here's how ventilation works. So you've got your soffits here. Air is going in through your soffit. This wonderfully drawn area is insulation. So that's your insulation. Now, air is going in through your soffit. It's traveling throughout the attic, and it's supposed to exit it out from your vents. Now, what's a traditional vents are those square-looking vents, turtle style. They kind of look like this. So what they're relying on is a lot of push. So heavy winds, when it's really heavy windy, it's going to cause a lot of airflow in the attic, and then it's going to get pushed out. The heat or the cold or the frost will get pushed out from the vents, but they're not doing any of the work themselves. So picture this, it's the vent is closed on top and there's just some air gaps. And through the air gaps, the humidity or the heat in the summertime is supposed to leave. Now that's great if your ventilation is properly done in the proper areas, it's gonna work well. However, when it comes to attic rain or when it comes to frosty attics, there just isn't enough being done there for the humidity to get out, especially if it's not very windy and it's just cold. So what's happening in this case is this is all frosty and it can't get out because there's no push. Now, the turbine vents, which is drawn right here, what they do is they act as a vacuum up here. So the air comes in here, even if it's less windy or if it's really windy, that's very good. And it's in here, and these are working to create a suction. And what that does is it takes all of the humidity out of your attic and out of or all the heat that's in the summertime out of your attic. So turbine vents are actually an upgrade of ventilation on a roof. Now, the problem is you need proper ventilation. This is where a lot of companies mess up. We actually get plans sent by builders a lot. And when we look at these plans, we're obviously looking at the roof plan. 9 times out of 10, for whichever builder it is, not all, but most of them don't have any ventilation plan architectural plans. So what this means is it's up to the discretion of the contractor that's doing the roof, or up to the discretion of the roofers themselves to cut out the vents. This is great if they know what they're doing, but in a lot of instances, they have no idea what they're doing because they've never been trained on proper ventilation. Proper ventilation, guys, is not this. So let's picture this is an elevation on a roof. On the right side of your house, picture the right side of your roof or the left or whatever. And if your roof looks like this, where there's vents in different areas, this is improper ventilation and this is causing cross venting. Now picture there's air coming in from here. It's supposed to travel throughout the attic and then escape on the top. Now what this is doing is it's coming here, and that suction and that nice flow is being disturbed by this one, by this one, by this one, by this one, by this, and it's creating little pockets where there's no ventilation. So that traps heat, that also traps moisture. It's improper ventilation. So we never want to see this. If we ever see this on a roof and the homeowners haven't opted for a ventilation upgrade, the bare minimum that we do is we cover off some of these vents and make a couple more vents on the ridges, near the ridges, because even if you have the turtle style vents, they need to escape from the top. There needs to be a good airflow system created here, so everything, the heat or the moisture, comes out and they escape from the top. Now, if you put a turbine vent on your roof, so let's say you call someone, you say, hey, I have a leak after the warm comes in, and they come in and they do a turbine vent. If they just installed the turbine vent and left all of these, they didn't do a proper job. And it's not going to help much. It's going to help somewhat, but it's not going to help much. What needs to happen is, let's say your roof looks like this or something like this. If someone's to come in and put in turbine vents, they need to cover up all of these holes. So underneath these vents, when they open it, there's a hole that's going right into your attic. So if you drop something heavy from that hole, it's going to fall through your drywall, just to give you a picture. So what's happening is these need to be covered. Every single hole that's up here needs to be covered. And a few turbine vents based on the square footage of your roof and the slopes and the different areas need to be put up there. So everything that's here is fully covered. And there's no areas for the air to get out and create pockets where there's no airflow. So in a perfect roof, there should be turbines right on the top, right on the ridges, wherever they are, or near the ridges. And then the air should flow nice, and the turbines are creating a suction for the air to get out. If you have this sort of ventilation on your roof and your soffits are vented, means they have little holes in them, then you've got good ventilation on your roof. If you've got those older style homes with wooden soffits and they only have small holes in a few areas, doesn't matter if you have turbines, you should probably look into getting some aluminum vented soffit. But anyways, that's step number one. So getting turbines up there and getting proper ventilation so that whenever it gets frosty, the turbines don't allow the frost to accumulate. What they're doing is, because of that vacuum, it's as soon as the moisture gets up into the attic, the turbines are working to take it out of your roof instead of them just sitting there. Now, the final solution, if you want to do a proper 100% job, is to get insulation and your ventilation corrected. If you don't have the budget to do both, then out of the two, definitely ventilation is the better option. But the proper thing to do would be to retop your insulation. So maybe there's a washroom vent here or something like this where there's no insulation or very little insulation. So what needs to happen is it needs to get topped up and the wet insulation needs to be removed. So that would be one, and then upgrading the turbines would be the second one. That said, one thing I forgot to mention is, how do you know it's attic rain? When there's frost on your plywood. So there's frost, picture this, there's frost on your plywood. It's been there for 2 weeks and it's just accumulating. Now it's melting. There's a washroom right here and it's got an exhaust pipe that's going and it's attached to the ceiling. And this is your washroom exhaust. So when this melts, it's going to catch onto the plywood and work its way down. And then when it catches this pipe, it's going to start running down into the washroom vent. So A lot of times when people have attic rain, or a telltale sign is the vents in your washroom have an active drip. That just means it's attic rain 9 times out of 10, and this is the solution for it. If you are in the market for this, just make sure that whoever you hire knows what they're talking about. If they say, yeah, we'll put in some turbine vents, or yeah, we just need to top up your insulation, they're giving you half of the solution. The real solution is the full thing, and if you want half, then the turbine vents should be put in the proper way, as I mentioned before.